All right. What's up, everybody? Dude, live viewers, just bringing you guys guests, live streaming. Unlike my normal show, but I got a good guest for you guys given the this R. Kelly story because this is Ronnie Bo. He was actually inside with R. Kelly. I'm gonna let him introduce himself to you guys and then we'll jump into some of this stuff.
Yeah. What up, Jesse?
What's up, man?
It's an honor to finally be on your platform. But I just want to say for your channel, for the integrity of your channel, I know a lot of other YouTubers and podcasters say that I was his cellmate for clickbait, and a lot of people run with that. But I know you just now getting this information, so just for the integrity of your channel, to give all truth and honesty, I was never his cellmate. Have I been in his cell before? Yes. And the feds, you can go in other people's cell and have talks with them, and God is my witness. I have done that in
Yeah.
R. Kelly cell before, and I got a deceased brother, and I will even go as far as putting that on his life that I've been in R. Kelly cell, while we was in MCC Chicago before, but I was never his cellmate. So that's just for the record for you. I never really went that far on no other platform, but just
Mhm.
because I respect your channel, I'm gonna just give it to you in the raw like that.
Appreciate that. So what was the Nate like? What was his situation at the time that you guys were inside together? Like, was he still at trial? Had he been convicted of any of the other cases? Like, where was he at that time?
See, I came in MCC Chicago in June of 2019, and he came in either July or August of 2019. I know it wasn't long after I arrived there. I had already been there actually, but I was on bail for drug distribution, and then I was a rap artist, so I mentioned the name of a informant, one of the informants in the song, and they put a U.S. Marshal warrant out for me. So I had to turn myself in to MCC Chicago June 23rd of 2019, and R.
Mhm.
Kelly came shortly after that. So when he
Yeah.
came, he was on protective custody. But see, I was also a book author, and this God is my witness. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't lie to you, Jesse. I respect you, but I was already a book author like 11 years before that, and I was aware of the surviving R. Kelly documentaries and all that. So when I realized he was in the same building I was in, and me being a book author, I'm like, man, I want to try to write a book on his side of the story, whether it's true or false. I just want to get his side of the story, and I think as big as these documentaries is, his side of the story should be just as big or just as credible, or like people should weigh it the same way. You know what I mean? So I felt like the book would be big
Yeah.
because of the nature of his case. Like in the feds, it's like snitches and pedophiles. Not, I'm sorry to say that word, but
No, no, you're good.
PDF files, like they not supposed to be uh, on general population with us. So
That dude is like every reason that a dude ends up in PC is R. Kelly. Is like he's famous, he's rich, and he's accused of putting hands on kids.
yeah, but see, like the gangs run the jail, especially in Chicago. That's one of the biggest gang cities other than like LA. And Chicago was number one, then LA became, like, when you look back at history. So it's still like that out there. So the gangs run the jails, and not that I'm affiliated with no gang, but how the culture go, like I grew up GD. So Chicago and Milwaukee, I'm from Milwaukee. I got indicted in Chicago. Chicago is where Larry Hoover from, the founder of the
Yeah.
GD. It's a big GD city. So with my ties to them, it's like I'm automatically one of them, whether
Yeah.
I want to be or not. You know what I mean? It's like this where we come from. That's how it is for survival in there. So they was the biggest gang in there, and then I was cool with the Latin Kings and the Vice Lords. My Celly Nico Whitehead was running the Vice Lords there at the time, and he was my Celly. So I just basically told all the people, like, I wasn't no shot caller, but I knew the people who was calling shots, and I just told them, like, this is what I'm trying to do. I want honey, y'all know my paperwork good, and we don't know if he guilty or not at this point. So we can't hold this against him because it happened to Tupac and Kobe Bryant and Bill Cosby and Diddy and Michael Jackson. And, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like how we know he did it, you know, because they say every everybody, every black man, when they get to a certain level, they did this, whether they did it or not. But it's like a pattern. So how we know it's true for him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Jesse. Like I ain't taking up for R. Kelly, and I definitely won't take up for Diddy. Like I'm gonna make this clear. I know what type of person Diddy is. I can't. Some of the words I want to say he is, I probably can't even say on your channel. But he's some bad names, and he shot a lady in the face who uh see me as a brother, and I see her as a sister, and we
Oh,
cool.
you know her, the one that he shot in the club?
Yes, Natanya Rubin, and you
Mhm.
probably should interview her about that. Like I got her.
I would love to interview her about that.
I got her number, and on that note, I'm gonna send her. I'm gonna text you her number and let her know that you want to interview her, and let her know that you're a good person to get on a platform with. Because a lot of these podcasters too, bro, like they don't let you say a lot of things that are honest and truthful. You know what I'm saying? They want you. They rather you like sensationalize things or just feed into certain narratives rather than say your own truth from your own experience.
Yeah.
And even me, like I come from my own experience, my own truth. But it's been people like that worked for the Rolling Stone that would say, if you just go against R. Kelly and say this, we can make your story big time. We know you're a book author, you will sell 1,000,000 copies, but we want you to say this. And it's like, that's not my truth. So I'm not gonna say it no matter
Yeah.
how much fame or how much money you offering me. I'm not gonna say that because that's not what I experienced. You
That's
know?
how they did. That's how they created this case on Russell Brand. Was like they read his book. They backtracked into who these girls were from his book, and they played telephone through DMs. Like the journalists who were trying to write the original article that was going to accuse him of doing this stuff, and they made this one think that this stuff that he did with him consensually, like they basically lied. Like they did tactics that like police would do in an interrogation and made them believe that these other girls had said things they hadn't said to reframe things that they had said happened into a non-consensual. And then once they got her to say that, they went back to these girls and they cross-wired all of them until, they were able to like manufacture this shit on Russell Brand. Now, certainly not saying that's what happened with R. Kelly, but I just mean like these journalists, that surprises me zero that they would try to get you to say, whatever they wanted you to say.
What I'm saying is that's kind of what happened to R. Kelly, and that's what happened to Diddy too. But the thing is, Diddy been some of the bad names that I don't want to say on your channel. Like he been doing the things that they say he been doing for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason why they bringing it to light now is because he offended the wrong people. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
you got people controlling you and you following their narrative, doing what they want you to do the whole time, and then you start thinking you greater than the program, then they gonna put you in check, and that's what they did to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He been a puppet though. He been a puppet his whole life. He been like nothing against the LGBT community or whatever, but he been gay. He been gay for 30 years.
Yeah.
Tupac been tried to expose him. He was like the only one that had the testicles to expose him. You know what I mean? That I ever heard of. Because ain't nobody else been coming out until, it's been like fashionable to come out about it. But he been doing this for 30 years. The only person I heard exposed him before that was Tupac. You know what I mean? So everybody else, like, just, they really clowns and cowards for just now coming out because they been knew dude been that type of person. He been a creep or whatever you want to call him. You know what I mean?
Had you heard about stuff that he was doing like through like the music stuff, or did R. Kelly talk to you about Diddy when you guys had a relationship inside?
See, before I met R. Kelly, I knew Pimpin' Ken, and
I saw you on his show.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he explained that we've been knowing each other for like 20 years. Like
Yeah.
it's been no reason for me or him to come out and address that we know each other, but being that I started going viral, and he been viral for 20 or 30 years. Then it's like, okay, now they put us on a platform together, and it just come out like. But I've been knowing Ken, and Ken been to Diddy parties that he told me about before I met R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you get on these platforms and people just now becoming familiar with you, they think that you making up stuff for clout or whatever. So I never spoke about what me and Pimpin' Ken spoke about 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? People was only interested in what me and R. Kelly talked about. So that's the only thing I've been discussing. But like, yeah, I've been to what been going on. I used to be an artist. Like, if you look up 20 and 12 David and Goliath of hip hop, it'll show an article from the top 40 charts with Lil Wayne and Lil Wayne and Ronnie Bo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's about him stealing one of my songs in 2009. So I've been like tied into the industry. It's just people just now becoming familiar with me because I ended up being locked up with R. Kelly, and people know that me and R. Kelly had discussions. But you know, and I've been writing books about this stuff before I met R. Kelly. So it's like I've been knew what was going on, but to meet R. Kelly and to have somebody like him confirm it, somebody who wrote songs for Michael Jackson and was really like the biggest musician in the world during his prime, like for him to confirm it is just a different level now. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's why people finally starting to take heed because
Yeah, I want to hear about that. I will just comment the following, dude. Like, people have to be so fucking talented to have certain kinds of cases, and then people continue to listen to their music. But like, Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna, and then it's still a superstar. It's like, that's how talented that dude is. And R. Kelly, there's a video of him like way before the big case came out. There's a video of him pissing on a 14-year-old, and people still rocked his shit after that. Like, it's like, just on a musical talent level, I mean, geez, everybody knew he married a fucking Aaliyah when she was a kid, dude. And everyone was like, I mean, he's a creep, but that fucking song's a banger right there.
but
It's
see,
in
let
it,
let let me comment on everything you just said because like I'm not gonna go against anything you said, but everything not what it seemed like. I can't justify what Chris Brown did, but I heard that Rihanna had just gave him like some type of STD or something before that, and she just told him, and other things were going on, and that was his reaction. Like I wouldn't have reacted that way, so I can't justify it, but I heard there was other things going on. Now with R. Kelly, with regards to Aaliyah, that was a publicity stunt on behalf of Barry Hankerson, who had signed R. Kelly and who had signed Aaliyah. And Aaliyah was like his niece. He was married to her auntie. So he wanted to make her big, and she was young, and R. Kelly was already big. So he felt like it would be a publicity stunt for R. Kelly to say that he had married Aaliyah because like they did this with Elvis Presley. No, Elvis Presley, my bad, but Elvis Presley married a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Back before R. Kelly. And when R. Kelly married Aaliyah, she was 15, but Elvis Presley, years prior to that, probably 15 or 20 years before that, had married a 14-year-old. So they felt like it was good publicity and did that followed by an album from Aaliyah called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
yeah, I remember that.
So again, the album called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. So they was trying to promote something. I don't know if they was trying to promote that it was okay for older grown men to have sex with teenage females, but they was trying to promote something. And they
Shit, probably knowing those fucking creeps.
and they was trying to use R. Kelly to promote that. Now look, I'm not taking up for R. Kelly. If he did that for money or for publicity or because he wanted to do it because he found her attractive at that age, that's in his mind. Uh, he never told me that that was true. I'm going off what he told me and taking his word. Like even this situation with the 14-year-old girl, like if he did that, that's terrible. And I think that somebody should do something to him in jail if he did that. But I don't think that he did that under the circumstances that we're aware of. Like according to him, like with these Diddy parties, if everybody believe these Diddy parties, did they put stuff in your drink or rub stuff on you, and then you under the influence? Why they won't believe that they put something in R. Kelly drink and rub something on him and had him under the influence, and that he possibly didn't even know what he was doing, or that the girl was 14? Now that's what he tell me. I'm not saying that's true or false.
I was gonna say what's his side of the story? If you could tell like a condensed version of like his side of the story, because I remember I saw something where you were saying like that they pushed these cases on him because they like wanted him to do some satanic shit or something like that. Like, so I might be butchering that. Like, yeah, condense kind of like a high level what his side of the story of his case was, and then we'll look at like what's going on today with him, with his like this murder plot. Because I just read about it. It's the Aryan Brotherhood that was going to whack him out. I just read it's the Aryan Brotherhood is what this article says in People magazine that was going to take a shot at him.
Okay, so now we bringing things to the light, but the R. Kelly, I don't take up for him because I don't know if he did what he did. I don't stand for that.
Yeah.
But I believe some of the things he said as far as certain people going against him, like even my own experience, like with Sean Atwood. Shout out to them, but I had a big altercation with Sean Atwood because he was only interested in having me come on his channel and say bad things about R. Kelly. He never wanted me to tell my truth, or he wasn't interested in the truth. So I'm glad that you are interested in at least the truth. You know what I mean? But yeah, though, like I don't know how deep you got to ask me a specific question, Jesse, because I don't want to beat around the bush. I want to give you exactly what you asking. But it was a incident dealing with that. But I would like for you to point a finger on exactly what you want me to.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so like the stuff that I saw in those documentaries that where I was watching it, just like if this was me and it was Mike, that like he would essentially, like what was implied by the documentary that was done by these parents was that like he would get these young girls into his circle and they would basically get like locked in a room, like, and he would never let them out of the room. And then that like he would get like, I remember, I think there was something like he'd give him a bucket in there for a toilet. Like they didn't even have a bathroom in there. He would just give him a bucket because they wouldn't allow him to leave the room. And then like when the parents were trying to get a hold of these kids, they like couldn't get a hold of the kids wouldn't respond to them and all that. Like those are like the main things I remember seeing in the documentary where I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this like, because if he was locking fucking kids in rooms with a bucket, like someone should just, I don't know, like just, I don't know, just fucking put him in the ground, dude. Like put him in the ground if he was actually doing that. Did you talk about any of that stuff?
Yeah, like first I just want to say like well, let me just address that. Like as far as that situation, like those same parents, bro, believe it or not, but with me reading the paperwork, those same parents were like encouraging their daughters to entice R. Kelly and to lie and say that they was 18 or older to get his phone number. And then even when they was with him, they had coached them while he was with them and say, tell them this. And there's text records that show that. So I'm not trying to take up for him, but that's what I seen as far as paperwork that I looked into when I was looked up with R. Kelly.
So he's saying that like that they were trying to like entrap him so they could sue him later and get at his money is what he was saying.
Yeah, see, another thing about that, like he was telling me, like as far as his biggest hits, like I Believe I Can Fly, which I had to sing in my elementary school graduation. Like those was his biggest hits, songs that was sung at the Olympics and huge events like that. But they wanted him to focus on promoting sex. And then at the time he was even promoting underage sex. Like he got a song, his lyrics say, show me some ID. Like under what circumstances do you ask a lady to show you some ID?
I mean, if I have to ask a girl for ID, well, first of all, I wouldn't be in that situation anyway. But like, if I had to ask a girl for ID, I'd find another girl.
So my point exactly. So this is the shit he promoting in his songs, though, bro. So okay, it was before they charged him with anything, he was promoting these messages in his songs. He don't see another song. I don't see nothing wrong with bump and grind. When would you tell a girl that you see nothing wrong with bump and grind? That's
Dude,
sad.
I'm looking at a list of his best songs. I forgot, dude. The fun Step in the Name of Love, dude. That song, I remember that specific song coming out, and me and my friends making jokes about that. We're like, man, this dude's a fucking creep. Because that was after the tape. And I was like, but this is a fucking jam, dude. I don't like I'm playing this song.
I don't find Step in the Name of Love creepy. I wish, I believe I can fly. Now, when he said show me some ID, that's creepy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I was talking about like because that was right after like that tape had come out. So I was like, we've established a dude a creep, but he can make a fucking banger ass song. That's for goddamn sure. You know.
But yeah, though, sadly and ironically, bro, a lot of those same parents that wanted to bring charges upon R. Kelly, those same parents was like selling their underage daughters to R. Kelly. So not that R. Kelly did anything wrong or right, but they did things that should be weighed as wrong and right as well. You know what I mean? Because certain things wouldn't happen if other things were in place. Like if me and you have teenage daughters, I think we wouldn't allow circumstances for them to be somewhere around people like Diddy or R. Kelly. So
Bruh.
they was in that situation then can allowed to continuously be in that situation, then that shows that something wasn't right, like for a period of time. So yeah, we just gotta weigh
We're
in
aligned on that for sure, dude. Like these kids that are around rappers and R&B stars when they're fucking teenage, it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, why would your teenage kid be anywhere near a rap star? Period. Actually, yeah, like, well, especially without you there. But like, especially, like, what are you doing? Like, why? It's bad parenting. Bad parenting for sure. I'm trying to look at his like specific conviction. I see this one like, so he got convicted in 2022, child exploitation, 30 years on September 27th, 2021. He got convicted of all 9 counts, superseding indictment, charging him with racketeering, predicated on criminal conduct, including sexual exploitation of children, forced labor, Man, dude, this is actually really similar stuff that they try to charge Diddy with. Like, I didn't even realize that.
But just would you like for me to also, because a lot of times, a lot of YouTubers and podcasters interview me to talk about R. Kelly and what he told me about Jay-Z and Diddy. I think I talk a lot about that, and I'm willing to go more in depth into that. But he also told me things about Epstein. Are we also willing to go into depth about that?
Of course, dude. Give me all of it.
Well, I wrote a book about what he told me about Epstein.
Yeah. What's the name of the book? Tell everybody.
Darkest Fantasies of the Richest Freaks.
Hold up.
I'm gonna send you the link exclusively though to give it away to your audience for free, just for sharing it. They got to show that they shared it or liked it or something. But I'll give it to your audience exclusively for free. But yeah, you know, a lot of people. Well, I think it came out before, but I think it came out as conspiracy theory, and mine is based on more informed speculation, like informed from a witness, like R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Who went there, and he went there with Jay-Z, right? Beyonce's husband. And they shot a video called Fiesta. I think Fiesta Remix to be exact.
Was on Epstein Island? Huh. That figures.
Yeah, but a lot of people, I think it came out as conspiracy theory before, but even if it did, it's been hidden. But that's more so like informed speculation, like as if I'm saying it really happened. But shout out to Donald Trump because you know he just pardoned Larry Hoover.
He did.
But at the same time, Elon Musk said that Trump was in the Epstein files, and I just wonder why. But I don't.
Oh, dude, hey, that's funny that you bring that. I keep forgetting to do that video, dude. I got a clip of the of the attorney who represented all of the Epstein victims in the original Florida case. There was 250 of them. And that's when Epstein got that sweetheart deal where he got to do 12 months in prison with the stipulations that he could leave from 8 a.m. until like 9 p.m. every day from the facility. And also, if he needed to travel to New York, he was allowed to do that. If he wanted to travel to the island, he was allowed to do that. It was just like a complete and total fucking lie. But that guy, or, you know, like a fake sentence. But that dude got interviewed and someone asked him, he's like, so was Trump involved in that case? He's like, you know, what's funny about that is he's like, we had a list this long of prominent figures that had been named in this Epstein thing. He's like, Trump is one of them. And we subpoenaed all of them. Or I'm sorry, not subpoenaed. I'm sorry, like reached out to all of them. The only one that responded was Trump. And he talked to me for 2.5 hours and gave us a ton of information that was really helpful to the case. And he's like, he was never implicated in anything related to that case at all. He's the only one who actually, out of all the other people, he's the only one that actually helped. He's like, he actually helped us, you know, put Epstein down. So like, I think Elon was just mad, honestly. I think he was just mad.
So should we deport Elon Musk?
Shit. No, I mean, I guess they made up, dude. Like I just saw a thing where Elon tweeted, he's like, I said some things I regret last week or whatever. I don't know, dude. I don't even have an opinion on any of this shit. Like it's like any of the deportations and all that. All I know is that if you throw a Molotov cocktail at a fucking cop, then they should be able to shoot you in the fucking face afterwards. You know, like these rioters, fuck these rioters, man.
But see, Trump and Eli, I think they taking a page out of Kanye West's book, Ye or Yeezy, whatever they want to call him, because they starting to do the same things that Yeezy was doing. The media. I started a media campaign where it may offend my culture and my ancestors because I wore like a white sheet and it resembled the KKK, right?
Yeah.
And I've been going to every news. I'm gonna send you some pictures, bro. I've been going to every news station in front of their signs, doing a press conference in front of every news station. And this will become viral very, very soon. But my people, I've been called all type of names by my people, and they say I'm mocking my own ancestors and all that. But a lot of times, like, it's all about getting people attention. Like, people don't want to admit that, but you got to get their attention to tell them what's really going on in the world by any means sometimes, because the media, like Malcolm X said back in his times, he said the media is the greatest weapon that the United States government has, and he said it's because they have the potential to make the innocent look guilty and make the guilty look innocent. And that shows
Yeah, that's true.
Like before they attack another country or something, they gotta make us believe that this country is a threat to us and demonize them or whatever. Sometimes the country may really be a threat. Sometimes they may not, but they at least gotta convince us that we paying taxes towards this war for a good cause. You know what I mean? Right now, like President Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, Africa, one of the 54 countries on the continent of Africa, he just decided that he wanted to, take back control of his natural resources, the gold, the other minerals there, oil there, the coffee beans, the chocolate, which other countries make billions annually off of, and they don't make much off of. And now it's like they trying to say that he doing terroristic things over there so that they could kill him. And they did me like that, bro. Like the DEA. The DEA got mad over here because I won't work for them to set up other drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? And because
tell me about your case. Like when you got like the case that you got locked up on distribution, like what was is that case over with? Like is it it's still pending?
No, it's over in the sense that like I even sued him for that and got compensated already. But I still been convicted on, like, I beat one of the cases. It was a Chicago indictment and a Milwaukee indictment. I beat the Milwaukee indictment. The Chicago indictment was tied, but I kind of beat the Chicago one too because I pled to only what I was willing to plead to, something real light, and they was trying to get some real major on me, and I wasn't plead to that. So in a sense, I beat that too, but they framed both cases on me. So I thought that once I beat the Milwaukee one, which showed that they framed me in that case, it would make it apparent or obvious that I was framed in this one too. But somehow they still held the same case on me, and with both indictments, the same agent, Timothy P. Gray, a DEA agent. You can look this up. You can look up my case numbers and everything, bro. One of them in the Eastern District of Wisconsin, case number 17 CV 1192. Like, that's one of them. The Chicago indictment was 17 CR 593. You know what I mean? And my government name is Ronnie Martin. Of course, I'm known by my books and music and videos, podcasts is Ronnie Bo. You know, my stage name or whatever, I'm Ronnie Bo. But when you look up that case in my real name, you will see all the injustices that is in that case, and that I actually beat them in a lawsuit that proved it. They even admitted that they did me wrong and framed me in those cases. You know what I mean?
So what put you on their radar in the first place? Like what, like, like what were the circumstances that put you in there, where they were going to try to get you in the first place?
Well, see, I grew up selling drugs, like, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I was selling drugs since I was 11. And I was learning how to sell it because, like, my dad wasn't around. My mama would be at work, and I'd be at home by myself. And the local neighborhood dope boys was like 14 and 15. They had asked me because they knew I had the house to myself, could they come bag up? So they was teaching me at an early age, and I learned at an early age. So it's like my mind and my soul was corrupted at an early age to sell dope. But during the time that they framed me in a case, I had already put that behind me. Like, that was some of my past. I was on a positive vibe and trying to do positive things in the community, and I was already a book author, making legitimate money off books and other events, things of that nature. But they framed me in a case saying I was still a drug dealer, so it was easy to believe, like, with R. Kelly, if he always making songs about sex and even alluding to having underage sex in his songs, and he catch a case, then it's obvious, like, or believable that he did it. You know what I'm saying? So if I got a past conviction as a juvenile for selling drugs, and then y'all frame me in a case as an adult for selling drugs, it looked like this is what he known for, so we could easily get him on this. But I really didn't do what they had framed me for that time, and that was proven. It was also even proven that Timothy P. Gray, the DEA agent, special agent that is, who did that, was involved in framing other. It's like he would target people of certain races, not just blacks, but like Latinos, and he would say, he would, like, threaten us and use call us like the N word or other racial names. You know what I mean? Like, he was really doing that, and it's documented. So these things really go on, but I'm not saying it go on everywhere. It's just like when people look at the media, whether it's mainstream or podcast, you really, instead of believing, because once you believe, it's like your actions and your feelings and everything come from what you believe. So you got to be careful what you believe and really look into it first, because they'll tell you anything, and depending on who run the media, it could be like a monopoly, like a mafia monopoly over the media, and they only want to control one narrative and push one narrative. And so if your truth is against the narrative, you know what I'm saying, then you would be blacklisted like they've been trying to blacklist me. But
Well, I imagine, like, in a lot of cases, if case agents work a specific area and they see somebody who they knew was dirty and they never were able to put a case on them, and then they're still just itching to put a case on them. Most likely they're like, because they have to accept a loss. Like, if someone's like a primary, like a high value target, and then they get out of that game and they're still hanging around, they still are probably that feels like a loss to them, because they're like, if someone gets to leave the game having never got popped, they're like, fuck, that dude beat us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably like an ego thing. They're like, that dude beat us, and so they gotta put a case on him.
You absolutely right though, bro, and that's exactly how they think. Especially
Yeah.
if they know you made certain investments to where you don't have to take these risks no more, and they feel like okay, you made it out, and they know like you would if it wasn't for the illegal stuff you did, you wouldn't have this success
Yeah.
over here, and legitimately you wouldn't be able to do that. Then yeah, they feel like you got away and they want revenge for that.
Yeah. It's hard for most people to do that, dude. Like, cause the money, like, it's, I mean, the money's coming in and it's like, maybe just one more month, like one more month. Any financial targets that are in people's brain. Like, I believe me, I know a lot of people that have, that this matter of fact, dude, I know a lot of very successful, completely straight entrepreneurs where the base of their money is dirty, like dirty money, but then they branch out. And I'm talking like really big people now, like I'm much older, but like, I remember when I was like in my 20s, I'm like, fucking people only knew where the fucking money for this came from, and they're like, and they're completely straight, like, I mean, now they've been straight for 20 years, like, but a lot of people aren't able to actually do that. It's like, a person who's got a real plan and they're like, okay, I need this much money. I need to bank this much money. And then I'm going to take this and then do this other thing. If they actually do it, they can do it. But like most people, once they get it, it's like, they don't realize there's heat on them. They're like, oh, I'll do another month. I'll do another month. And they get rung up,
You know a reason why I think they was mad at me? Because I taught that same principle that you just taught. I taught that in one of my books back then. Basically, look, if you could just make this amount of money and invest it to this, you could get out.
Yeah.
So hurry up and get out. And I'm teaching them steps about how to get out, but it wasn't a thing of humor for me. It was really like survival because I know how I just woke up into it. You know what I'm saying? Because I started so young. It's like, damn, what am I doing? Like, I'm risking my freedom. This could carry this much time, and now I'm
Yeah.
already tied in. This how I'm buying school clothes and video games, and then by then it's like too late. Now I caught a case, and now it's like, wow, I didn't know this come with 10 years or 5 years.
Yeah. Where are those guys at that were bagging up when you were 11? Those guys, where are those guys?
Either dead or locked up forever, bro.
All of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad, dog. It's deep that you even brought that up because that's the truth of that
Yeah.
matter. It's sad though, yeah.
Yeah. It's a wild environment, dude. I trip out on that all the time. Like in that environment, like, and just use like public examples, like guys like King Von or fucking Durk or whatever. And it's like Durk, especially, man, where he just he couldn't let it slide. Like he couldn't let it slide. It's like, just leave it alone, dude. And he just couldn't. And now he's done. And you're like, because he had like made it, but he just couldn't set it down. It's like, it shit's fucking sad, dude. But I mean, aside from Durk, it's like, if a person grows up in an environment where like all they see is, it's like, if a person thinks like, oh, I'm going to live for 80 years, like even 80 years, super short period of time. But if people have it in their mind, they're like, oh yeah, people live to be 17 or 21, and then they're either in jail or they're dead. And that's how they set their mind to it. That's just the world that they are in. And then that's the outcome for their life. And it's like,
Speaking of Dirk, bro, it's like I never had a close bond with Dirk, but people who I grew up with, like my godmother, for example, he had a close bond with Dirk since like 2014, right? So it's like 11 years. And the first time I was introduced to Dirk, that is, was in 2015 when he brought him here in Milwaukee for an event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, Dirk he was doing events, but he was struggling. He was taking anything for events, and I know because I saw it. He was taking a couple thousand and some pills and shit, like anything for events. And he was sleeping on hotel floors with multiple people. They'd get one room and it'd be 8 to 10 people deep in this room, and they sharing rooms like this on the road. So I saw the struggle and I saw the growth, but I also saw people close to him getting killed.
Yeah.
I saw the pain that he was going through, and I know my culture. Like when we come from this type of struggle, when somebody around us get killed, the other side or people they like mimic us or talk bad about us and make mockery of us and say even go as far as say, we smoking this weed, we
Yeah,
smoke
yeah.
your guy and this weed right here. You know what I mean? So that bothers us mentally and emotionally to see that, especially like with Durk, even in my situation, to actually see your people get killed in front of you and see they body just losing blood and life just coming, just they depleting and dying, and you seeing this, and then you hear people making songs laughing about it and making mockery about it like that. That damage you real bad mentally and emotionally. So I don't fault Durk because I know what he going through, and people done did it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I know how I feel. You know what I mean? But it get to a point where you gotta have some type of you got to realize like he was too big. He had to realize that he couldn't allow these people, these fans or whatever in his ear to say, man, slide for Vine or do this for Vine.
Yeah.
He shouldn't allow that, at least not on their time. Like I know I can't justify or fault nobody for doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't allow nobody else to make you do that on your time. And I feel like he allowed this music and the influence of fans to make him give his life up in a real bad way.
Yeah. I heard him actually talking in an interview recently, and he sounded all right, dude. Like mentally, he sounded all right, actually, given his situation. Like he's all, man, I'm not even thinking about the
But,
outside.
but
I'm just doing.
you gonna sound like that when like his father was on Larry Hoover case. Larry Hoover is the founder of the GDs.
Yeah.
His father was close with Larry Hoover. His father had life. His father wasn't supposed to be out right now, but before people, making headlines about what Trump just did with Hoover. But even when I was in the feds in 2019, Trump was freeing a lot of people like me. In particular, the GDs that was on Larry Hoover case. He just didn't free the founder yet because I felt like he knew he was going to run for another term, and he felt like that would be too much publicity. But yeah, I don't want to get too far on the topic though, bro. I think we cover some deep stuff. I don't know how deep I could go, so I'm gonna hold back a little.
Well, you told so, and I didn't even know this. He pardoned NBA YoungBoy too, huh? That's
Yes.
wild. Like, the only reason I say that's wild is just because, like, how the fuck did NBA YoungBoy end up on Trump's desk where he's like, yeah, let's pardon him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I mean, NBA YoungBoy's case was fucking stupid anyway. They're like, oh, he had people going to fucking pharmacies to pick up pills. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
But see, I wasn't gonna get into that, Jesse. But now that you brought it up, I will, and I don't want to take credit for it. But God is my witness. Like my girlfriend is an attorney, and she is my witness, and the certified mail letters is my witness. But I brought that petition to pardon NBA young boy to Trump desk before anybody brought it to his desk. You know what I mean? I just don't want to take credit for it because people will say it's clout chasing. They believe what they want to believe. That ain't a topic of our discussion, but that's the fact of the matter that I can confirm. The certified mail number will confirm, and my attorney girlfriend will confirm. But that's another story. We don't gotta go there, but you
I'm
know
glad. I'm glad that he let him out, and just because, like, when I look at that case, what I see primarily is like that's a drug addiction right there, and I don't like people getting locked up behind drug addictions, dude. Like, it's like, oh, he had people going and picking up prescriptions, and he's doing blah blah blah, and you're like, you tie that to a RICO. That's a dude who's addicted to opioids that's doing whatever he has to do to get pills. That's what you're looking at right there, and you're gonna fucking sit him down for a decade for that. Fuck that shit.
Well, you absolutely right, Jesse. And the thing about this opioid addiction is a major, very, very significant factor where I come from. Like, it don't just like when I was growing up, we had crackheads, right? But
Yeah.
we still had youth that just knew like that was not the way to go. But in this new epidemic or pandemic or whatever you want to call it with the opioids, you know what I mean? But the opioids is a drug that it has many different forms, and the youth, the the middle age, the older, the elderly, everybody in my community do it, and it's so bad, bro. People would kill me over a Percocet, bro. I don't want to cuss on your show, but
No, you're good, dude. I cuss on my show all the time.
it's so bad, bro. People would kill me over a Percocet or a half a gram of heroin or fentanyl or something like that. They would kill me over one pill, bro. Over a Percocet. It's so bad, and they feel like they need it so bad. They justify everything. They say whether it's emotional pain or physical pain, they act like they just need it. And
dude, I've said on the channel before, like to try to, like for people who don't know, who have never gotten hooked on that kind of shit, like I'm like, look, the only way that I could even put it in perspective how bad withdrawal is on those is if you gave me the choice between going through a full throttle fentanyl withdrawal for the 3 full days and nights that it's going to take, or it was like, or you sit in a chair and let somebody fucking hammer nails through your fucking foot into the floor. Like, let's say 2 or 3 on each foot. I'm taking the nails in a fucking heartbeat. And everyone in the comments was like, and I'm like, hey, anybody who knows will know. And in the comments, everyone's all, give me those nails. I'll take the fucking nails. It's that bad, dude. You know? And so like out there with like people who, you know, it's like a different like type of situation, but people who are out there in the street and they're ripping and running and they're living fucking hour to hour. Like that surprises me zero that people smoke somebody for just to avoid it, even for a few hours, dude. Like they're like, it's that bad.
Bro, my close friends who I grew up with, who should be considered like brothers to me, you know what I'm saying? Crossed me over a pill, like really tried to set me up to get robbed, and other situations really set me up to go to jail over something as small as a Percocet, bro. And this something that you could get from your doctor. This something the government dish out. You know, Percocets, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the opioid, I mean, that addiction is bad. It's
a beast, dude.
It's no like that people prioritize that high over love and loved ones and everything else, you know. Like,
well, what they actually are prioritizing, and when they get strung out like that, is I don't have the balls to be that sick for 3 days. Like I can't do it. It's like no one will volunteer for it. I'll tell you this, the last time that ever happened to me before I quit for good was I had Suboxone. I got put into precipitated withdrawal, which means that like it has to do with Suboxone. Anyway, it's like a thing where you inadvertently put something in your body that is where you're going to go into the most horrific withdrawal, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it, because if you take Suboxone, it kicks everything off the receptors, and then if you try to take other shit, it doesn't matter because now the Suboxone's on it. And I remember I had heard about that, but it had never happened to me, and it was because I had been running fake oxy pills that were actually fentanyl, and I didn't realize fentanyl worked different. And so if you take Suboxone, it would throw you in. And I remember as soon as I felt it coming on and I realized what was happening, I was like, oh my God. And I had my kids. I had my, like, you know, it was, I mean, I think I only had 2 kids at the time, but like, dude, it was a level of fucking terror that I can't even explain. And then that was it. After that, I went and did Ibogaine. I never did it again. I never took another one ever again. It was just like, and then like it's the fuck. I remember sitting in my shower like this and just thinking to myself, I'm like, if I didn't have kids, I mean, I might fucking eat a bullet to make this stop, dude. Maybe, you know, like I remember that exact thought. Like if I didn't have kids, there is a possibility where I would fucking do anything to make this stop, dude. It hurts that bad, dude. It's the worst thing ever. Like it's fucking unbearable. Unbearable.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that's a good reason for everybody to stop doing it. Hey, but I got to jump now because I got to be at my thing in 10 minutes. So we're going to cut this thing off. We'll do this again. I'm going to call you though. I'll call you in a second after we wrap this up. Tell everybody where to find your stuff though.
Okay. First, I just like to let them know, man, you know, we need to make sure R. Kelly is free on all sides. Like I had to denounce my protection from him, and he probably panicked and thought that was a reason to get in the media and say somebody gonna do something to him. But I do believe him because of the things that's going on with Jay-Z and Diddy. Them 2 brothers got reasons to harm R. Kelly. So protect him. R. Kelly is not as bad as them. No, I don't know if he did the things they say he did, but with me, I mentioned a book, you know, as far as what R. Kelly told me about Epstein. It's called Darkest Fantasies of the Richest Freaks. I'll just send Jesse the link, you know, and I'll try to make sure y'all all get that for free. You know what I mean? Other than that, Jesse, I'll give out my phone number, which is 414-587-1919. So if they hit the phone number, they can get the books for free that way. And I appreciate you having me, bro.
All right, my man. I'll hit you up in a second. Thanks, everybody. I'll be on. We'll be on later on. All right, guys.